Is BBC One in the East. Now the BBC News with Hugh Edwards and Melissa Rudd at 10 o'clock.
Tonight at 10, a booster vaccination for every adult in the UK to try to prevent a new wave of COVID infections. The extra measures were announced today because of the rise of the new variant of coronavirus called Omicron. Advisors to ministers also recommend that 12 to 15-year-olds should be invited for a second dose of the Pfizer vaccine.
Our experience of fighting this virus has shown us that it's best to act decisively.
Hear this track.
With Alba.
My granddad.
Your granddad, your great-granddad.
The greatest minds behind the greatest
care it needs with a dermatologist, aka GK.
Mix up our channel.
What she's talking about. How many times do I have to? My dude!
My girl, what's happening?
What's up? Is this your boy?
This is my brother-in-law.
Oh, well, really
Bring
well.
it on in. Allie. Come on in. Oh,
Come on, man, she's a beast in the kitchen.
what's this? This is spinach, man. These are carrots.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening. Extra measures have been announced today to try to prevent a new wave of coronavirus infections driven by the latest variant called Omicron. Scientists believe it'll take around 3 weeks to gain a better understanding of its effects. Now, the main proposal today is that every adult in England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland will now be offered a booster vaccination. The committee advising the government confirmed that the minimum gap between people's second dose and the booster should be reduced from 6 to 3 months. And it also recommended that 12 to 15-year-olds should be invited for a second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Senior advisors say it's likely that the effectiveness of the vaccines will be reduced by the new variant to some extent, as our health editor Hugh Pym reports now.
Boosting the boosters, like those being given in Derby today. That's now the official response to the new variant. Experts have told ministers that as well as all adults being offered booster jabs, the gap between the second dose and the next should be slashed to 3 months. The message is that with the chance that vaccines won't be so effective against Omicron, more immunity is needed.
We therefore want to provide boosters early enough such that it is before any possible wave. I'm not here predicting that there will be a wave of the new variant, but should there be a wave, we want to be in the best possible position.
That urgency, he said, was why the time between second and third doses should be cut, and a 3-month gap would still mean good protection. We asked people in Birmingham for their reaction.
As soon as we get everybody vaccinated, then it can make it safer and more places can open up.
Reaches to younger people, and if it helps, then it's, a positive thing, right?
With cases of infection being confirmed in Scotland, the First Minister said with her Welsh counterpart she was calling for tighter restrictions on people arriving in the UK.
We're proposing a tougher Four Nations approach to travel restrictions at this stage that would see people arriving in the UK from overseas asked to self-isolate for 8 days. Under our proposal, they would take a PCR test on day 8 of their arrival as well as on day 2.
At Westminster, the Health Secretary was explaining the new plans, including tighter rules on face coverings in England.
We're building our defences and putting these measures in place without delay. Scientists are working at speed, at home and abroad, to determine whether this variant is more dangerous. And I can assure the House that if it emerges that this variant is no more dangerous than the Delta variant, then we won't keep measures in place for a day longer than necessary.
But Labour said the government should have gone further.
Keeping masks in place would always have been our plan A. Will the Secretary of State extend the use of masks to hospitality and other settings? COVID not spread in pubs?
The new rules on masks in shops and public transport in England will come into line with the rest of the UK tomorrow. This butcher in Louth in Lincolnshire isn't happy.
Many people now are fed up of the situation and don't really know
Really good
whether they
picture.
agree with the masking situation. So you're going to have problems with customers facing each other.
Meanwhile, children at a school in Essex are being tested because of a link to a new variant case. More generally, face masks are now being recommended in communal areas at all secondary schools and colleges in England. They're already required in Scottish schools. So there's a lot for the health service to think about as they're asked to ramp up the rollout of the booster vaccination programme and care for patients as winter sets in. Until more is known about the new variant, the NHS can only focus on patients coming through the doors. And although hospitals are under a lot of pressure, COVID numbers are well down on this time last year and considerably lower than in January, largely thanks to the success of the vaccines. These are uncertain times, but ministers, while emphasising the need to get vaccinated, are continuing to stress that people should plan for Christmas as normal. Hugh Pym, BBC News.
Scientists are now, as a matter of urgency,